That was the gun charge. This nigga McTurn. Okay, all right. Officer Richard McTurn, a witness called on behalf of the Commonwealth, first being duly sworn, testifies as follows. Sir, please introduce yourself as ladies and gentlemen. Officer Richard McTurn, I work with 2nd Precinct. How long have you been with the Richmond Police Department? 11 years. And all of this time, have you been with 2nd Precinct? I have. Are you familiar with the defendant here today? Travell Harvey, I am. Do you see him in court here today? I do. Would you identify him for the record? Suit and glasses sitting between Mr. Bradshaw to the left of Mr. Bradshaw. Judge, if the record could reflect, identify the defendant. Record reflect. How long have you known Travell? Approximately a year and a half. That's what he said. I don't understand. I only ran into that nigga one time. He said he knew me for a year and a half. A year and a half ago, I was in jail. I only been home 7 months. I just came home from doing an 18-month probation violation. But again, they can say what they want. They don't got to prove it. How many times would you say have you had an opportunity to observe him in that time you have known him? Approximately 5 to 7 times. We had one incident, and that's when they jumped out on me at the road. Matter of fact, he was in the car with Kingsworth when I got locked up on a violation. That was twice. And all that was in the same amount of time. Then they see me again, served me with a subpoena to the grand jury for May. Told her how many hours spent in his presence. All of the times together, yes, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and 5 to 7 times. Basically, he lied. You ain't seen me but them 2 times. You've had conversation with him. I have. Have you observed the way he walks and carries himself? Yes. Would you say you're friendly with him? Yes. Does he know your nickname? I believe so. He called me by. What does he call you, Matt? Why does he call you that? Because he overheard somebody else say it, and he asked me why they called me that. McTurnan. I said it's shorter than McTurnan. And are you familiar with his nickname if he has one? Yes. Again, they beat down on his bus and shit. What is it? Bus head bus. All right. Are there characteristics of this defendant that make him identifiable to you? There was. Yes, he has changed a little bit. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what has changed in his appearance recently. His facial hair. He used to wear it a little thicker. He's trimmed the size of his hair. It's tighter here than it was here. It is almost like tighter. It was probably longer than it is on the top now. The sides are cut shorter. Do you have any trouble identifying him in court today? I do not. Based on your familiarity with the defendant, did I ask you to watch several individual video clips from in and outside the club illusions the evening of January 17th into the early morning hours of January 18th? I did. Were you able to positively identify the defendant in those video clips? I was. Did you also review still photographs taken from this footage? I did. The individual clips, yes. And were you able to positively identify him in those? Yes. Judge, if I could have one more, I'm going to play for the jurors Commonwealth Exhibit 11, which is individual clips. Man, like I said, she edited all the clips, showing certain parts, just me. Officer McTurnan, I will ask you to step out of the witness box. There's a pointer right next to you right there. In preparation for today, did you and I review these individual clips of video? We did. Let's start with camera 14A. When you see the defendant, would you please identify him to the jury? Yes. Stop and identify him. Video is played right there. Did you see somebody else in the frame that you recognize? Carl Space. Do you know him to be an associate of Travell Harvey? I do. Now look at this board that has been entered into evidence as Commonwealth Exhibit number 13. Tell the jurors if you recognize these photographs. I do. From the video footage we just watched, yes. Would you identify defendant and Carl Space in this? Travell Harvey here, Travell Harvey, Travell Harvey, Travell Harvey, Travell Harvey, Travell Harvey, Carl Space, Travell Harvey, Carl Space, Travell Harvey, Carl Space, Travell Harvey. Man, you Sherelle said she ain't see Carl nowhere. She doesn't even mention the nigga until after they showed this video, which clearly, as you can see, this nigga and every one of these pictures, he's behind me. Like he following me everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? Once you have seen Mr. Harvey, the defendant in that video, are you able to then watch him coming and following him throughout the video? I am. All right, I'm going to show you segment from camera 23A. And I will ask you to stop me when you see the defendant. Harvey there. Do you see anybody else? Mr. Space, Carl Space. This would be immediately preceding the frames that we just watched standing at the door, correct? If you could take that board in front of you, Commonwealth 12, and show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what, if any, still photographs you recognize from that footage. This one here, when I first recognized him coming into the frame, there along with Mr. Space. All right, let's go ahead and put that one down. Take a look at 22A. This would be the other camera angle on the Richmond Inn and Suites. Same time frame as what we just watched. Mr. Harvey there, Mr. Space at the door. Is he still at the door? He's still at the door. Did you see any video footage of him standing in line. No, different camera angle, walking into the club illusion. Let me know if and when you recognize someone. Mr. Harvey there's also Mr. Space again. The two of them have walked into the club. Let me show you still photographs at the top of this board, Commonwealth 14. Do you recognize these first two images on the still photographs from what we just observed? I do. What do they show? Here is Mr. Harvey and Mr. Space. Mr. Harvey, Mr. Space. Okay, the entrance hall. This would be Mr. Harvey, just walking into the club. I got those photos. I got copies of them. That's them dark-ass pictures. My lawyer complained his computer printed it off in black and white. It's a black and white video, so it put extra ink in. Do you see anybody else? Mr. Space is walking ahead of him. This would be just a few seconds later from that footage, correct? Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you see. Just follow Mr. Harvey. Can you look at the board that is next to you? Yes. Look at the camera 11 stills. All right, whatever you that. So what camera 11 is? This camera 11. This show walking in the club. You will see walk in. Okay, I'm going this way. Man, I'm coming in. So she said I come in. She said she watched me and DY and Cal after she only said me and DY. Said we walk in, come down the steps, bouncing onto the dance floor. I didn't go down that way. This nigga ready to testify. I come in just with one person and I go up into this VIP area. So look at camera 11 stills. Tell the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury what you see. Here's Mr. Harvey, Mr. Space here again. Here's Mr. Harvey looking at camera 12. This camera 12 again. Mr. Harvey here. Anybody else? There's also Mr. Space. Question. They go up the steps into the VIP area. Yes. They go up the steps into the VIP area. That's contradicting her saying they came down the steps bouncing onto the dance floor. If she's saying she saw something that is physically impossible to see, then that makes her uncredible. And also her testimony false, which she did a lot of times. But the jury wasn't made aware of this. My lawyer didn't make them aware. The Commonwealth didn't make them aware. The Commonwealth knew if she just asked, they go up the steps. So when Charlotte testified, they went down the steps onto the dance floor. These are two different sets of steps. Can't be doing two things coming into the club. They don't correct this shit, man. These people playing. Got me fucked up. And I know what I did and what I didn't do. So when this bitch testifying, I'm like, this bitch lying. They go up the step into the VIP area. Yes. Can you look at what is on camera 12 and see if you recognize the first two? Here's Mr. Harvey, Space again, Mr. Harvey, Mr. Space. We'll need to play that one. Yes. I want you to look at this video, which is going to be the same camera angle. One we just saw, camera 12. Let me know if you recognize Mr. Harvey. Mr. Harvey there. Do you notice anything different? Got different. Something around his neck? All right. Your answer. Got different. Something around his neck. So I put the bandana on immediately after I got it. Like I pulled it up and had it around my neck. Dude's not in the club. This is literally at 12 o'clock when I first got in the club. All right, would you look at the still at the bottom there? Can you tell me what exhibit that is just for the record? Exhibit 14. Look at that bottom still and let the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury know. Mr. Harvey there. What is the timestamp on that? 12:01. I got in the club at 12 o'clock, so at 12:01, you can see the bandana on my face. But this bitch saying I just put it on my face as I was walking down the steps, which I never walked down those steps. She lied. Their case contradicted her, but that ain't matter to them. You know what I'm saying? They wanted the nigga to pay for that shit, and they had me. And she used the opportunity to get all the charge she had. All right, this is the longest video we have. Yes, this is on the dance floor. Let the ladies and gentlemen of the jury know when he comes down the screen. Mr. Harvey there. Do you see Carl Space in the video as well? Yes, at this point, Travail is putting something over his face. Now I'm putting the bandana over my face at 12:01. It appears to be a bandana. You can see the tie at the back of the neck. The bandana stops there. Tell the ladies and the gentlemen of the jury what you see there. He made a motion to go up, at which time he appeared to put a bandana over his face and then takes his hand on the right side and tightens one end of it, and he'll keep it up there for only a few seconds. He'll take it back down. This would be the same camera angle on the dance floor. Tell me when you see him come back into the screen. Him right there. Do you recognize anybody with him? Carl Space. All right. Look at 7-8 up in the VIP area. Do you recognize anybody coming through? I can see Carl. I can't get a good look at him. At this one, there he is right there. Go off screen again. Look at the same camera angle. Do you see anybody walk in the back toward the dance floor? Mr. Space. If you let it play, I can show you. So there is Mr. Space. Yes. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is about 6 minutes later back on the dance floor. There is Mr. Space. That's Mr. Harvey there. What, if anything, do you notice different about the attire? At this point, he put a jacket on, some kind of hoodie. All the shirt is different. You can still make out the design on the shirt he was wearing under the jacket. Do you recognize who he's with there? Still talking to Mr. Space, Mr. Harvey. The whole time, you ain't gonna hear nobody name other than this puss ass, fuck ass nigga, Kyle Space. Never once is DY in any camera frame with me. DY is somewhere on the opposite side of the dance floor with Damo and them. That's who he came to the club with. Them niggas was already in the club. Damo wore my hoodie, and when I got in the club, I got my hoodie from him. That's all it was. Like, they try to make it seem like it's odd that I came in without my hoodie and I left off with my hoodie on. This nigga they got killed not even in the club, dog. But yeah, like I'm saying, when the jury hearing a story for the first time, they don't know which is true and which not true. And then the way the shit being presented by the Commonwealth was is a false narrative to make me look suspicious. Oh, he got a hoodie on. He got a dance floor on. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it wrong. You know what I'm saying? These are white middle-class people. We grow up in the trenches. They don't understand, you know what I'm saying, why we do different things. It's cultural, you know what I'm saying? But here they use the culture against me. You know what I'm saying? Even though whatever it could be deemed suspicious, it's case law that states Bishop versus Stover. You know what I'm saying? Bishop versus Commonwealth, Stover versus Commonwealth, Ainge, Lil John. Suspicion of guilt, no matter how suspicious of activity, is not enough to sustain a criminal conviction for first-degree murder in a circumstantial case, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not no dumb man. I've been reading this shit for years. These people fucked me over, and they still doing it. We ain't even got to the head when I bring the video up. This nigga never confirmed her with the video to show. But then I go and see the shit confirmed. This bitch won't on the dance floor. It shows she ain't coming from where she said she came from and going the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? And they still, it's too blurry. Now, all these videos you've been watching to see me and this and that, even the same angle that I'm referring to, you showed me in that camera angle early in the night before the murder happened. But when I bring it up to show what it shows her doing after the murder to show she wasn't on the dance floor, it's too blurry. Be for real. What, if anything, do you notice different? At that point, he put a jacket on. Do you recognize who he's with? Still talking to Mr. Space, Mr. Javier. Kind of hard to see in this. Yeah, it's hard to see. So this is up to 12:30. You know what I'm saying? Victim still not in the club. On the eternal clock of the club illusion, let's go through a few more stills. Commonwealth 15, all right? So now at 12:20, I think the last time was 12:01 going up to the dance floor. I'm on the dance floor. Before we even get there, she said she never seen me. She said she saw me predominantly on the dance floor, but never seen Cal. You know what I'm saying? Which that police just testified that nigga is in my ass like a wedgie. You know what I'm saying? Then she said she never seen the bandana. I only put it on as I was walking down the steps prior to the shooting. When the bandana been on my face and didn't come off my face, it might have been around my neck, but it never was untied and taken down. This bitch just lied, man. Do you recognize these still photographs? I will have you take a look through them. This being images we just saw up through, I believe, the timestamp. Yes. Can you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Harvey there? That is footage we have already seen. Correct. Here we go again. What is that is still up? Where he has a bandana over his face. Here we go again. The bandana is no longer over the bridge. The bandana is now no longer over the bridge of his nose down to the chin area. Here it is again, the bandana removed, but not removed from my face, but on my neck. Again, bandana removed. Mr. Harvey again. We have not seen that one yet, right? So this is at 12:30 now. So in between this 12:24 and 12:30, what changed in his appearance? Here he has the bandana. Now he appears to be wearing the jacket over the shirt he had on. Again, he is also wearing the same jacket here, same jacket. Come on, man. I don't understand what was the purpose of this nigga to testify other than saying he know me and had prior dealings with me. So now you done prejudiced the jury and tainted them to say, oh, this nigga having run-ins with a narcotics detective. You know what I'm saying? We'll come back to this in a moment. I told the police from the jump that I was at the club and I was on the dance floor, but I just ain't shoot the nigga. I was nowhere near him, which they have never established in no way, shape, or form that I was anywhere near him. Got locked up in the same clothes. They testing for blood, all that shit. Nothing. Footprints tracking blood everywhere. Like, these people just went in there and let a bitch say she saw me do something that she didn't see, that I didn't do, and then they formed a narrative around it to make it look suspicious. You know what I'm saying? We come back to this in a minute. We have not gone forward. Can you read the timestamp on this one? 12:44. Now, the 12:44 jank is what I showed y'all. Where the fuck that picture at? Damn. 12:44. 12:44. I just had that motherfucking picture, man. 1244, babe. 1244 is camera number 9. This is over here. And it's on a diagram of the club. Camera 9. This was she said. She ran up the steps and ran between the DJ booth. I say, look at camera 9. You're gonna see she never goes over there. When the crowd is like none. This we played it before the shoot, so you see people chilling. Then you see an overwhelming crowd come running off the dance floor. Her testimony was that she was in that crowd and she ran over here, then ran back. But when you see the crowd come up, you're going to actually see her come running around the balances so much they go running into the crowd. It get congested right there. She's shown running into the crowd and then down the steps. Rewind it. Once you see her, rewind it. Come back this way. Shooting ain't happened. So if the shooting ain't happened, she coming back this way. And she gave a testimony prior to the shooting already being over here and seeing shit. She can't be in two places at one time. This is camera 9. The detective identifying me. That's me right there. See my receding hairline? You know what I'm saying? That's fuckboy right there. Like I said, it was in my ass like a wedgie. This area look bigger on this jank is actually smaller, so much so that this camera shows these steps. That's somebody coming up off the dance floor. Those are the steps. You know what I'm saying? And you can see her clear enough. Like, this shit crazy, dog. These people fuck me over. And they don't even want me to get an opportunity to present my innocence. They don't want to give me the real, actual raw footage. And you seen the email from the Commonwealth when we requested it. He requested to get in my lawyer. Somebody in the Attorney General's office say don't give it to him. It's different from what was into that trial. You're right, it's different. Which y'all into that trial was edited. And it cuts off and she zoomed in on the shit. But anyway, that's 12/44/17. This would be camera 9. Oh my God, like this shit crazy. But on appeal, they got to go back through all this shit. They got to look at this shit, and on appeal, the evidence is viewed in light of favor of the prevailing party, which in this case is the Commonwealth. I lost my trial, so everything, all the difference is given to them. But I'm telling them it's evidence that wasn't presented at my trial, so you can't dispute that from the record. Give me a hearing, and I'm going to show this. The law states that anytime a prima facie allegation is presented of a constitutional violation, you know what I'm saying, that you have to at least order evidentiary hearing if it can't be dissolved by the record. Anytime you have a material factual dispute, which I'm saying one thing, my lawyer is saying another thing, and they taking his word and arguing and using that to stand against my word, and the court's agreeing with it. Like, no, it don't work that way. But they won't give me a hearing, and this is what I've been battling them for the whole time. They know if they give me an evidentiary hearing and I present that fucking raw video footage, they know what it's going to show. They never denied that it shows that. Not only that, I can present now that the edited version of the video, which is the record, which has been submitted to the record, has been doctored. It has been tampered. She literally cuts off certain angles to show that would have shown they witness was not a witness. This lady, Tracy Miller, who tried my case, Commonwealth, who's no longer a Commonwealth attorney, did some illegal shit. You know what I'm saying? So they fight me to not put it on the record, because then every case that she's ever involved in comes back under scrutiny before the courts. So before the Attorney General be fielding appeals from 1,000 different niggas, he'll rather let me stay in prison for a case that they know I ain't do. You know what I'm saying? Jury, let the ladies and general jury know when you see someone. There's Mr. Space and Mr. Harvey. Harvey, just outside. Mr. Harvey again, Mr. Space, stay here just out of sight. Look at the bottom still for camera 9. Do you recognize that as being a still from what we just observed? Yes. That's him going in from the bathroom. Like I said, camera 9. The bathroom. So if you can see all this on camera 9, wait till when I tell you, what I show you what they said about camera 9, when I tell you to go look at it and what it showed. They only showed it up to a certain point, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying look at it after that point and you're going to see this. They won't let me look at it. They don't want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. Mr. Space in front of them. Now we're going to watch camera 11 again. I want you to read the timestamp. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury with that. 105, that's after the shooting. I want you to watch this, and when you see Mr. Harvey, let us know. Mr. Harvey there. Now we go backwards. I want you to follow him. What is he doing there? At this point, he has his left hand over his face, and he's making a motion with his right hand into his waistband.